how do you explain now this great drop in the valuation from 19,000 crores in these 9 companies to 10,000 crores? To what? I mean, how do you explain that?
Okay, let me explain that in 2 ways. One, Hindenburg is a self-confessed short seller. He first does a trade in short selling, then publishes a report with the sheer intent of creating the maximum damage to the target.
Yes.
At that time, and if you read the report, he's given family relationships, he's given photographs of marriages, etc., etc. The idea was to defame and to destroy, so that he would get a greater profit. When you begin with that intent, you are not going to be fair always. Okay, that's one part. The second part is a little more complicated. Valuations eventually rely in the eye of the beholder. You want to sell me a pen for 1,000 rupees, I said no, it's worth only 10 rupees. I don't buy it. While Dilip may say, no, it's a good pen, I'll pay 1,000. I'm ready, he's maybe ready to pay even 1,500 because he perceives a value there. Value.
Forget about pen, I bought Adani shares.
So, value, so that's one part. The second part is valuations also depends on market sentiment. Let me give you the example of Amazon. Amazon made losses for 6 years and had a price which is very, very high. What was its PE ratio? Infinity, because any price of a negative is infinity. Was it highly valued? In retrospect, no, but at that time, yes.
So how true is it that actually when an investor really goes to invest in the stock market, he's investing in the future?
Yes.
He's not investing in the inherent value currently.
And if
Do you agree?
Yes, absolutely, perception matters.
Yes.
And then let me give you a third example. Take every startup today. The guy is not going to make profits. You're giving a valuation without profits.
Billions of
billions of dollars.
Yeah.
Is that overvalued? Again, you perceive the future.
Yes.
So, valuations is a tricky area, which is why I've not touched valuations in the book, but I just want to tell you that this is what happens. And the last part of it, Hindenburg's report. He talks about shell companies. People who know Adani, and I've studied Adani for 18 years, 20 years. He has 100 ships, all foreign flag, all owned by companies overseas. He has 60 dredgers, the largest number of dredgers any port in the world owns.
That's for deepening the port.
For deepening the port, cleaning the water. That's another story, but leave it. But the 60 dredgers, he has 3 ports overseas. Three ports overseas.
3 ports.
In Colombo, in Australia, and Haifa, Israel.
Yeah.
He has 3 ports overseas. He has one whole island at the mouth of the Suez Canal. He has a power plant in Indonesia. In Indonesia, it's got coal mine. In Australia, it's got coal mines. He's got a power plant in Australia, 2 power plants in Australia, 2 power plants in Colombo, and now a 3rd power plant that's coming up in Haifa. He's got assets overseas which are much bigger than the assets.
Bigger than
his incomes overseas, ownership lies overseas, cash flows are richer overseas. If he's not going to have companies overseas, because when you're buying an asset, a ship, you keep each ship in a separate company. So when you sell the ship, you don't have transfer titles. You just sell the shares. The owner of the ship remains the same. And so when he's got 500 companies or 6,000 companies, it doesn't matter. All the companies are asset-based.